What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Caleb Perez Show. It is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026, almost noon Eastern. The show begins now. We got some things we're going to go over today. We're going to go over the Stanley Cup playoffs. We're going to go over the NBA playoffs. We're going to do a mock draft real quick. We're going to talk about the New York Mets and the disaster they're having, as well as what's causing it. So we have a bit of an agenda for today's episode. But first off, we're going to do our mock draft. After all, the NFL draft is right around the corner. It starts tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first round. We're going to do a mock of the first round. See what they need. But this isn't like the good one. Hang on, let me find a good one real quick. So we're gonna go over the mock real quick. And make sure this can count for the fact that it's now the Giants. There we go. Okay, so yeah. I'm trying to find. I think it's ESPN Simulator. I don't know. The one that's good, like, usually shows me like what they got or what they need. Don't worry, I'll find it eventually. Let's look at Reddit first. Totally. Great, my YouTube video is taking me over to Reddit. What is happening to me? I recommend this one. Alright, cool. All one around. There we go. Perfect. So this one does go over their names. Alright. Sorry taking this long, but we're here. Let's go over our first round mock draft. Our first round mock. And let's go from here. Obviously, Raiders got the first overall pick. Biggest teams are obviously offensive line. They've addressed that a little bit in the offseason. Wide receiver and D tackle, but obviously, biggest need is a quarterback. I know they just signed Kirk Cousins. He's probably going to be starting on day one for them, but it's pretty obvious he's going first overall, unless the Raiders trade the pick, which I don't see them doing. First overall pick is going to be Fernando Mendoza, national championship winning quarterback out of Indiana. Moving on with our next pick, it is the New York Jets. Basically, name a position on the football field the Jets probably need it. This is a very broken team. They need a lot to be fixed with them. There's a lot wrong. Honestly, a smart decision for the Jets, knowing how many issues they have, would honestly be to trade the pick. They're not going to do it. They're going to draft somebody. Based on what I've been seeing, it's mainly down between two people. You could throw Sonny Styles into this conversation, but I think for the most part, it's between David Bailey or Arvell Reese, the two elite edge rushers in the draft. However, over the last few weeks, I've seen more and more that it's going to be Arvell Reese. So I'm going to go with Arvell Reese, goes second overall to the Jets. Again, it could absolutely be David Bailey, but based on a trend that I've been seeing over these past couple of weeks leading up to the draft, Arvell Reese could most likely be the guy, or is most likely going to be the guy who goes second overall to the Jets. And so there we go with that. Next up, obviously, we got a lot of guys here. Next up is the Arizona Cardinals. They're obviously need an offensive line. They need quarterback. They need edge rusher. They need guard. They need running back. There's a lot of needs for the Cardinals. There's a lot they could do here. this could be a team who could trade down for a quarterback, especially if we don't see outside of Mendoza, if we don't see a lot of guys go higher up. I do see them once again sticking with the pattern of edge rushers. They do need some help on that defensive line front, especially at edge rusher. This is where I think we do see David Bailey go. He goes third overall. Again, Cardinals need a lot of work basically everywhere, but David Bailey's going to be an elite edge rusher. He's a phenomenal edge rusher. So many great games at A&M. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. He's an elite player. The only reason I don't got David Bailey going too is because, again, the trend I've seen over the last few weeks, more and more people are firmly believing that Arvell Reese was going to go to the Jets and that they were going to choose Arvell Reese. Reese is a great player in his own respect. Don't get me wrong. I love Arvell Reese as a Buckeye. That being said, I personally think David Bailey's the better player, but if the Jets do go with Arvell at number 2, which I do think they will, that means most likely we'll see David Bailey go number 3 to the Arizona Cardinals. Moving on. Tennessee Titans, obviously, they've done a lot right over the offseason. They have a need at edge rusher, linebacker, receiver, guard, and running back. This has been the interesting one for me because the more and more rumors I see about the Tennessee Titans is the more and more I'm starting to think that they're going to go with Jeremiah Love at number 4. Obviously, Sonny Styles is right here, knowing that the previous 2 picks are most likely going to be edge rushers with David Bailey and Arvell Reese going at 2 and 3. We could absolutely see Sonny Styles go. Then we see Sonny Styles go, linebacker out of Ohio State. Could see him go. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe even Ruben Bain jump into the top 5. But based on the pattern I've been seeing these last few weeks and how much people are talking about it, I do believe Jeremiah Love goes to the Tennessee Titans at number 4. It's been talked about a lot. Titans really love Jeremiah Love. Obviously, you trade down, like, some other teams could easily take him up. We could even see Jeremiah Love go higher. We might see him go to a team like the Cardinals or the Jazz because, again, they need help basically anywhere. That anywhere includes running back. In general, Love is a guy who shot up a lot of draft boards over these last few weeks, so we could absolutely see Jeremiah Love go higher than this. Personally, I'm sticking with what my top 3 is, and therefore Jeremiah Love will go at 4 to the Tennessee Titans, hoping that they have their championship-winning backfield of Cam Ward at quarterback with Jeremiah Love at running back. Love's a phenomenal back. One of the most underrated players in college football over these last couple of seasons. We saw how much he was impactful over at Notre Dame when they went on their championship run. And obviously last season as well, played some phenomenal games as well. So I'm going to go with Jeremiah Love going 4 overall to the Titans. Next up is the Giants. Obviously, this is the first of what is now their 2 top 10 picks, with Dexter Lawrence getting traded. So with that being said, they need help with the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, D-tackle, safety, guard, linebacker, and wide receiver are the 2 big needs for the Giants. Obviously, wide receiver has become a bigger issue for the Giants because of the injury that we saw to Malik Neighbors. Questions about whether or not he's going to be back fully healthy next season, which is why we see receiver being a much bigger need now. Obviously, the receiver, Cardinal Tate's still there. Kai Lemon has shot up a lot of boards. Jordan Tyson is still here. Sadiq can catch the ball very well. Could see Caden Proctor go super high, maybe. Caden McDonald of Ohio State's a very good option, especially if the Giants want to replace their need at defensive tackle. Overall, there's a lot of great options here for the Giants. There's a lot of different routes they can go. And assuming the top 4 goes in the way that I do believe the top 4 is going to go, they still have a lot of options available. Obviously, linebacker is a big one, and we've seen a lot of defense go so far. I'm going to continue with that style. No pun intended. I believe this is where Sonny Styles is going to go. If they don't go Sonny Styles, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we saw Ruben Bain jump into the top 5. Or maybe they will go with Cardinal Tate. Personally, I don't think they go a receiver this early. I feel like their issues on the defensive side of the ball are a bigger need. So therefore, I believe we will most likely see them either go with the Ruben Bain or Sonny Styles. Personally, I'm going to go with Sonny Styles as of right now. But they could absolutely go with Ruben Bain. They could absolutely go with Mayuoga. If that's I'm butchering that. I apologize for that. But personally, knowing how much linebackers and edge rushers have already gone, I feel like the Giants would continue with that pattern. Because once we get to this point, if Arvell Reese, David Bailey are off the board, Sonny Styles could be your best option there. Or maybe, again, going with Ruben Bain. Next up is the Browns. Obviously, offensive line and wide receiver were by far their biggest problems last year. They've gotten some new offensive linemen in. They got a new center in. They got a new guard in. I don't see the Browns going quarterback. I think they're happy with Shador and the fact that Deshaun's going to be on the last year of his contract next season. So if the Browns do cut quarterback, it would surprise me. The Browns have 2 picks here in the first round at number 6 overall, and of course 24, which originally belonged to Jacksonville, traded to Cleveland last year in last year's draft. So you're going to see tackle, wide receiver, in my opinion, in the first round for the Browns, no matter what. The question is, what order are they going to do it? Obviously, Francis is here. Maybe they go with Caden Proctor, who's fallen down a little bit. Personally, if I'm the Browns, I would go with wide receiver for your first pick and tackle for the second. So with that being said, the Browns will either go, on this pick, they'll go with either Carnell Tate or Mekhi Lemon. Lemon has shot up draft boards over these last couple of weeks. He's a very impressive player. Personally, I think he stick with the Ohio State pedigree, and that the Browns are going to go with Carnell Tate at number 6. That would make, obviously, in the top 10, that would be the third Ohio State Buckeye off the board with Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles going beforehand. But again, it could go either way for the Browns. I think that their obvious picks, their first 2 picks are very obviously, in my opinion, going to be wide receiver and tackle, because those were their 2 biggest issues with the offense last year. Regardless of what order they do it in is up to them, but personally, I feel like either way works out. I feel like they should go with the wide receiver first, knowing that guys like Carnell Tate and Mekhi Lemon could still possibly be there. And assuming that the top 5 sticks with their projected picks and don't trade down, that allows the Browns to go with Carnell Tate at number 6. 7th overall is the Commanders. Obviously, they have needs at wide receiver, a center, safety, running back, and edge rusher. You guys can do this. Obviously, receiver, center are the big one. Safety's kind of up there as well. Obviously, I'm never going to get this guy's name pronounced right. Francis Milwaukee. I'm butchering this, and I apologize. He's still available. Ruben Baines is still available. Caleb Downs is still available. So you see, at least right now, based on what Commanders need here at 7, 3 guys are going to be available right away with Caleb Downs, Ruben Bain, and Francis Mayo guy. I'm still butchering that terribly. So, plenty of options for them to go with here. As far as what they do choose to go with, though, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders traded down. I know the Cowboys I mentioned about trading up, maybe. Maybe could see the Cowboys trade up and go with McCoy or Delane. Maybe they'll go with an edge rusher or linebacker. We could see that happen. I don't know if it's going to happen yet, though. As far as what the Commanders go, let me see what... No, it's not that. I want to see what Schrager is looking at right now. So I think Peter Schrager's a big one that I've looked at a lot. Where are you at, Shregs? There we go. Oh, he's got Colonel Tint going in this spot. Damn, so my mock draft and his are completely different. Hmm. I just don't think the Browns go offensive tackle that soon. They do need a wide receiver. I'm gonna go with his pattern of wide receiver. I think they're gonna go with Mekhi Lemon. Lemon's a phenomenal player, simply put. And they'll allow the Saints to go with Urban Band at number 8. Chiefs are gonna go either Lane or McCoy. Hard to get this one wrong. Corner's been an issue. They could go they need an edge rusher, obviously. All the big ones are already gone in my board. So Chiefs, obviously, they need edge rusher. They need corner, tackle, even tight end and receiver, which is crazy. What is Sugar at the Chiefs going with? Projected trade. Always got the Cowboys trading up. Chiefs government. Jeremy is not falling that far. I'm sorry. Yeah. At 9, I'm gonna say I think they're gonna go with the lane at LSU. And therefore, for the Giants, they're gonna go with Caleb Downs at 10. Interesting draft board. I know. Obviously, edge rusher is super valuable in this draft. 3 of them go in the top 10. Sonny Styles going at 5. Obviously, 2 big wide receivers going in the middle. Yeah, we move on to the Dolphins. Dolphins, they need a little bit of O-line help. Guard and tackle, edge rusher, corner, receiver. They need some help in general. It looks like they are rebuilding. Personally, I feel like it would be best here if they go with the guy out of Miami, Florida. Maybe go out of Miami. He played at Hard Rock in college. He'll be playing at Hard Rock in the NFL. That's what I feel like they go with. Cowboys are going to go with McCoy again. They need corner. Corner's a desperate need for the Cowboys right now. The Rams do not need help at wide receiver. I assure you. What are the Rams going with here? God damn, how many ads on this one? But yeah, they need wide receiver and linebacker. Those are the big ones for them. Could use a little bit of offensive line help too. Personally, I think they're going to go tight end here. I think they're going to go with Kenyon Sadiq. Um, I know Schrager said they would probably do a trade with the Lions to allow the Lions to get Caden Proctor while he's still on the board. Assuming that does happen, I'm going to say assuming the Rams will go with Sadiq and that the Lions would go with Proctor at 13. Ravens, guard out of Penn State. D tackle, guard, center, wide receiver, corner are the big needs. Dude, ads are everywhere. God dang. I'm gonna go with that too. I'm gonna say they go guard. Bucks need a lot of help, obviously, after the way they fell out last year. To a Mesidor. Oh yeah, Mesidor. Is Mesidor still on the board? Or do I have Mesidor going already? Mesidor's here. Yeah, I do think they go with Mesidor because Mesidor had a phenomenal playoff run with Miami. We get to the Jets' second pick at number 16. Obviously, they can't go with Mekhi Lemon. Already have him going. So for the Jets, I feel like You don't need an offensive line, really. We need anything, basically, but maybe this is where Jordan Tyson goes. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jordan Tyson here. They need a wide receiver. And this would allow for Caden Proctor to go to the Lions. Again, Lions looking to rebuild some of the offensive line. Kind of struggled for them last season. Obviously, 10 is, and then we go to Minnesota at 18. Obviously, with Harrison Smith retiring, they're going to need a safety. I feel like this is where we're going to go see Thieneman go out of Oregon. Phenomenal safety for the Ducks all of his years in college. Phenomenal player. That's where he goes. And this is an interesting spot for Carolina. They just made the playoffs. They've had some things go right, some things go wrong, but they look so much better right now, obviously. And of course he has a trade. Of course he. Come on, Strikes. What are you doing? But for this spot, assuming they do go offensive tackle, D tackle is obviously a need for them as well. Could see Peter Woods go here. Could see Caden McDonald. They need D tackle. Obviously, they're at project to go later in the first round. Could go Fano or Freeling out of Georgia or Caleb Lamo out of Utah. Obviously, Kendrick Falk is still here out of Auburn. So plenty of options here for them. As far as the Panthers go, obviously, big tackle is the big thing right now. I feel like if you go with any of the big three, you're making a good pick here. I'm going to go with Spencer Fano at 19. Leading us to the Dallas Cowboys at 20. What the hell's happening? Anyway, they already went in corner, so linebacker here I feel like would be a big one. Edge, safety, you name it. Cowboys got some problems I got to fix here. Plenty of guys left, obviously. Could go out of the first round, maybe trade out. Hmm. We might see Dallas. We might see Dallas trade the pick. They do need edge. That's true. And the Chiefs do need a receiver. Are there any edge rushers left? See, I feel like in the Cowboys, it would be a good idea to trade back. Let's make a trade real quick. Okay, Dallas swaps picks with the Chiefs. All right, and that's just swapping picks. As far as what the other details are, could go either one. I do agree with Peter Schrager here. If the Chiefs do trade up, they're going to go with Omar Cooper. They need help at wide receiver. They need to get some more weapons for their guys, especially Patrick Mahomes. Especially if this is going to be one of Kelsey's last few years and the trajectory that he's been on. So, some feeling there. I feel like again, I'm going to strikes here. Steelers go offensive tackle, bulk up the offensive line. First, the Chargers go. He likes Kendrick Falk out of Auburn. I also like Kendrick Falk out of Auburn. Edge rusher for them works. Eagles, obviously, edge rusher, tackle, wide receiver, tight end, and safety. Arizona State tackle is where he sees it. And if Caleb Lamy is still here, they're going to go with Caleb Lamy. So they need the offensive line. I believe this is where we would have the Browns. Yeah, go on receiver. So for the Browns, I would go offensive line here if you're Cleveland. And again, what I said about the Browns earlier, they could go either or. They could go tackle first. They could go receiver first. I have them going tackle. So this is when I would have them go offensive line. Go with Max out of Arizona State. Da Bears. They do need edge rusher. TJ Parker. Oh yeah, TJ Parker going. Yeah, they do need some edge rusher. We could just see the Bears trade Dak a little bit. Go with some other help, but they do need some D tackle, so I'm gonna go with Peter Woods here at 25. And the Bills, they need edge rusher, receiver, safety, linebacker, and guard. He would have him going with Peter Woods, but obviously Peter Woods goes beforehand, they can't take him, so not gonna be Peter Woods. These odds are ridiculous. They actually piss me off. Who do they go with here? Yeah, I'm not the best mock draft in the world, I know. So if you want to judge, go ahead. I know I suck. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care. It's what Schrager said, so yeah, I don't know. And Cowboys again at 29. This is where we would have the Cowboys going. I'm not 29. Who am I kidding? I'm at San Francisco. San Francisco, he would have him going offensive tackle. So yeah, this is where Blake Miller would go. And then would go KC Conception. I didn't have them trading, so it is still Houston's pick. They need offensive line, obviously. Offensive line, tight end. They got some issues up there. Um, Go Christian Miller, I guess. Cowboys. Edge at ECF. Obviously, they need some edge rusher. I was going to go Zion Young here. They're at ECF. They already have him? TJ Parker's still there. Yeah, Malachi. Nah. They would go a guy in the first round. They would go Zion Young here. Because they do need some edge rusher. That defense, obviously, for the Cowboys was the big need. And so the Dolphins at 31. They would need a corner. So I would go with one of the two corners left in the first round if you're the Dolphins. Personally, I feel like you would go with Hood out of Tennessee. Then we get to the Patriots. Obviously, Diggs having his problems. Wide receiver would be a big one for the Patriots, but obviously they could go edge. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Seattle trades out the first round. Edge in Missouri, but if they need to go wide receiver, they would go KC Conception. Now I would propose to trade Cardinals and Seattle. And then Ty Simpson. Wow. And again, that's my personal opinion. You saw what the team needs were. You saw what everybody needed, obviously. I know I'm not a draft expert or anything. I will try to cover the draft a little bit. I do work tomorrow night, so may not be able to a whole lot. Yeah, this is going to be a really good draft this year. I am really excited for it. This is what I got going, obviously. If we could absolutely see this as far as we see a lot of the big edge rushers going early. Could see Mesidor fly up draft boards. He absolutely could. Mesidor is an insane player. And especially if we see Ruben Bain, Arvil Reese, and David Bailey get taken early. Even Sonny Styles going early. But yeah, lots of great defense on the board. Obviously, Mendoza is the only super dominant quarterback. I do like Ty Simpson. Again, Cardinals do need quarterback. They also need running back. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we saw maybe the Cardinals go with David Bailey. Instead of going David Bailey, we could see them go Jeremiah Love. Get what they will believe a championship backfield with Love and Ty Simpson. But this is mine for now. And yeah. So that is my mock draft. And again, not the biggest expert on mock drafts or what teams could be doing. That's what they could do. But moving on. Let's go over to the NHL playoffs real quick. Obviously, the playoffs just got underway. We have a few big games tonight. Obviously, as far as what is coming up for tonight goes, Game 3 between the Penguins and Flyers. Game 2 between the Oilers and Ducks. Game 3 between the Stars and the Wild. Super surprised that we're seeing Philadelphia play the way they've been playing. I really thought Pittsburgh was going to dominate this series, and that hasn't happened. We saw Dallas get dominated in Game 1. Oilers won a close one in Game 1 in that series. We saw the Avalanche beat the Stars yesterday. Mammoth tied the series against the Golden Knights. Bruins tied the series against Buffalo. Tampa Bay tied the series against Carolina. But yeah, NHL playoffs are shaping up to be really good. A lot of these early games have been phenomenal to watch. Lots of great physicality. I've been noticing that a lot in these earlier games. They have been very physical. It's going to keep up that way for sure. But personally, I had the Stars win the Stanley Cup. My final is Stars versus Buffalo. Obviously, both these guys, both Buffalo and Dallas, are tied at 1 game apiece. Dallas plays tonight. Buffalo plays in Boston tomorrow. We'll see how that goes for me. Obviously, Carolina's up 2-0 on the Senators, and Colorado are up 2-0 on the Kings. So this is the only 2-0 series right now. If the Oilers win tonight, they could go up 2-0. With that being said, their first game against the Ducks was a very close game, so you never know there. But it's been a very interesting start to the NHL playoffs. Hopefully get some more games like that. Obviously, the NBA playoffs are going on too. We saw the Lakers take a 2-0 series lead over the Rockets. Trailblazers beat the Spurs after Wembanyama went in a concussion protocol. Hopefully he'll be okay. We saw the Sixers beat the Celtics to even that series. Timberwolves beat the Nuggets to even that series. What just happened? Why did that? What's happening here? But yeah, 3 games tonight, 2 games tomorrow. Tonight's games are Game 2 between the Magic and the Pistons, Game 2 between the Thunder and Suns, and Game 3. Oh, only 2 games tonight. Never mind. So only got 2 games tonight and 3 games tomorrow. Tonight's games are Magic, Pistons, and Suns versus Thunder. Tomorrow night's game are Game 3 between the Knicks and the Hawks. Game 3 between the Cavaliers and Raptors. Cavaliers are up 2-0 in that series after a dominant Game 1 and Game 2 performance. And the Nuggets are playing the Timberwolves. Game 3 in Minnesota. And on Friday, you got Celtics, Sixers, Lakers, Rockets, and Trailblazers versus Spurs. That's the NBA playoffs right now. Again, we're early on. Not too many teams up 2-0 just yet. It's the Cavaliers and the Lakers. So far, obviously, we could see a few more 2-0 games soon, with the Pistons playing the Magic on Saturday. Surprisingly, the Magic took Game 1 of that series. Magic are really good at taking... Oh, never mind. They played tonight. Never mind. But yeah, obviously, it was a bit of a shocker when the Magic beat the Pistons in Game 1. With that being said, Magic are known for taking Game 1, so... Not terribly shocked, but either way. NBA playoffs are heating up. NHL playoffs are heating up. They're in the full swing of things. It's been fun to watch. let's hope it keeps being that way, because this could be a very good postseason. Let's go over the standings real quick and over the MLB standings. Obviously, baseball season is in the full swing of things. Obviously, there's a certain team in the National League East that we're gonna get talking about soon, because they have been playing absolutely dog shit recently. We'll get to them soon. Obviously, American League East standings as of now: Yankees lead the way, followed by the Rays, Orioles, Blue Jays, and Red Sox. The Rays got pounced by the Reds yesterday, so they're gonna be looking to hopefully take a game, hopefully on their end take a game out of that series. Yankees been playing great. Obviously, 3 teams under 500 in a division that I thought was going to be the best team in the best division in baseball. Interesting there. AL Central is currently being led by the Guardians, with the Twins in second, Tigers in third, White Sox in fourth, and Royals in fifth. In the AL West, the Athletics, after a bit of a slow start, are leading the way, followed by the Rangers in second, Angels third, Mariners fourth, and the Astros up to a very slow start this year, despite the fact that Yordan Alvarez has been playing like an MVP candidate. But again, early on, the biggest thing you need to take about the early game baseball season is that just because a team starts out slow or hot doesn't mean they're going to end the season that way. It's 162 games in the baseball season. A lot of these teams have barely even played 20. So don't overreact just yet. There's a lot of season left. NL West, surprise, surprise, is being led by the Dodgers. I know. Who saw that coming? Dodgers even run first place with the Padres, followed by the Diamondbacks, Giants, and Rockies. Giants got off to a really slow start. They've played a little bit better recently, but still not the best start for them. NL Central is shaping up to be the best division in baseball so far, with every team over 500. It is currently being led by my Cincinnati Reds in first place at 16-8, followed by the Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, and Pirates. Bucco's playing some good ball right now. NL Central has been very, very strong. And the Reds are going to be looking to close out their sweep against the Rays today. Cardinals and Marlins already underway as of the time I am recording this. Yeah, Reds play the Rays at 1:10. They'll be looking to, I believe, split series, yeah. And obviously, we're going to go over this division and talk about what's happening with the team at the bottom. But Braves lead the way in the National League East at 16-8. They're the only team over 500 in this division. Second place is the Marlins and Nationals, tied for second. Phillies are in fourth, and obviously, the dumpster fire, the New York Mets, last place with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 consecutive losses. Man. Hopefully Google AI can find this for me. Oh, perfect. Here we go. So yeah, obviously the Mets losing streak hit a whopping 12 games, the first time they've done so in a long, long time. The Mets dropped to a record of 7-16, averaging just 1.83 runs per game while scoring 2 runs or fewer in 9 of those losses. The team significantly struggled hitting, particularly against fastballs, and suffered from bullpen implosions. They did not lead for 66 consecutive innings at one point, or tied for their 6th longest losing streak in franchise history. Mets have averaged only 1.83 runs per game during the losing streak. They've scored 2 runs or fewer in 9 of the 12 losses. Key additional hitting, they're batting 161 with runners in scoring position, 094 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. And in late inning high leverage situations, they're batting 056. Against the Twins, the team only managed 4 hits. They also blew a 3-0 lead in the game. Marked their worst start since their inaugural 1962 season, the season that they had the all-time single-season loss record up until recently the Red Sox broke it. Closer Evan Williams allowed 7 earned runs over a 3-game span in the streak. Obviously, he had a blown save last night. The streak is the longest since 2002 and places them as the worst hitting team against fastballs. So yeah, bruh. Sentiments or terms used to describe this period included 12 games losing skid, 12-game losing streak, 12-game slide, misery, slump, collapse, and unraveling, often accompanied by mentions of historic ineptitude in context of their early season records. So yeah, things are not looking good in Queens right now. The Mets playing like absolute horse shit. Um, and I just don't know what to say about this losing streak. Like they're just playing awful, and I don't know what to say about that. It's been bad. Like simply put, it's been bad. And again, last night with how they played, it's like it's just been terrible. Like I really just don't know how to describe this. Like pitching's been bad, hitting's been bad. We saw those hitting stats; those are abysmal for any team, let alone one that has one of the highest payrolls in baseball, who spend as much money as they possibly can to keep up with what the Dodgers have done over the last few years, who 2 seasons ago are playing in the National League Championship Series. And now last year they choked at the end of the season, missed the playoffs. Start off the year 7-16 this year, 12-game losing streak. It's just things for the Mets are not working out right now. And granted, I know this was happening in 2023, and they turned it around and made the NLCS. But in general, like for a team who has as much talent as the Mets do, who spends as much money as the Mets have spent, playing 500 ball should be underachieving, not 9 games under 500 on a 12-game losing streak. So, yeah, a lot's got to fix. A lot's got to get fixed in New York. A lot of things need to improve because, I mean, and again, I know it's earlier on in the year. There's plenty of time for this team to turn it around and get better. But with that being said, like this has just been historically awful in so many ways for the New York Mets, and they need to figure it out quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this episode right here. Obviously, we've gone over the NHL and the NBA. Their playoff schedules in the full swing of things. NBA regular seasons in the full swing of things. Watch the Mets if you want to watch losing baseball. Uh, NFL draft is this weekend. The Kentucky Derby is next weekend. So we have some great sports coming up. WrestleMania news over the weekend. Day 2 is a lot better than day 1, but sports is good right now, and we are grateful that we get to watch it. I'm grateful that I get to watch it every day. So let's enjoy these sports while we have them. Let's be happy we're in sports season, and let's continue to be fans. But until then, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the video. Follow my TikTok and my Twitter. I don't post on them much, but I'll try to, especially now that we're going into the draft season. But yeah, so that is going to do it for this episode here. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the future. Peace out, everyone.